Hello and welcome to the second part of our Kotlin tutorial. In this part, we'll start finally developing our app, our Hello World app, and we'll start with the very basics, okay? As we've seen, for those who have seen the assembly tutorials, you will see that there is always an entry point, a place where everything starts, okay? The beginning of the app. In advanced programming languages, not like in assembly, the entry point is generally a function that is in many cases called the main function. And that main function will always be inside the file. Now, the file can be any file. The important thing is that the file that contains the main function will operate as the entry point. We can have many different files with the main function, so it will require us to choose which one to execute. But if the project only has one, which is the case we're going to do now, then the IDE, the app, in this case IntelliJ, will automatically point the entry option to that file. Okay? If we don't have a main function, it will never know from where to start. So it's always important to define that main function. In case of mobile phones, Android specifically, it's called differently, okay? But in our case, you're going to use the basic programming level right now, and we need to create that main function. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do is create a file that will contain that main function. If you press on your right button of the mouse, and you look into and you open the properties on the always on the source folder, it's where we're going to create our programming files. We will create a new Kotlin file, okay, /class. We will explain in the future what the class mean. It's always a Kotlin file which will contain the functions. So if we press here, it will offer us to create a number of different files. Okay, so for now we'll create a file, not a class. We'll call it main. Okay, this main file. Again, it's showing me that's not necessary. This main file will. It's very small. I want to change the properties of the editor. It looks very small. 1 second. Let's see if I can make it bigger. Oh, yeah, it's a bit bigger. I know, but that's for the editor, sorry. Let's put it a bit smaller, the editor, to put it to 16. And let's look into where are the fonts. You can do the same thing that I do here. You can choose a different show monospace font. The size, I'm gonna put it also in 16 or 18. Apply. Okay, now I can, perfect. So in this line, as you can see, there is nothing in this file, nothing at all. So there is nothing at all. Okay, so what I am going to do right now is to create the entry point function that I mentioned before. That function is always called main, with no capital letters of any kind. It's function main and nothing else. Okay, if I do this and I save, yes, I defined the first necessary element to execute the application. Okay? And inside that application, I will execute the first function. Okay? As you can see, the main really is a function. That's how we call the functions in Kotlin, fun. That function, which starts here and ends here, okay, this is the beginning, this is the end, will execute all the lines inside the function, the line 5, 6, and 7, yes, one after the other in a sequential way, just like we've seen in assembly. Every single line that you program here will be executed unless you put some conditions to jump from one or to jump part of the code. What's important here, as you can see, there is a play which tells me that this function is executable, okay, is to understand that from now on our programming process will be putting the main function and then calling other functions and making a complex app based on calling functions and sending to functions variables and using variables and so on. So the first function that we execute inside the main function will be the println, okay? Println, yes, is a function that requires an entry, a variable as a parameter of entry, this one that we're going to write now, which can be of the following type, and it already offers me a number of types. Okay, we will use of type string, which is already chosen by putting the double these symbols here. Okay, great. So the text symbol. We will force here a text. I'm going to write inside a text message called hello world. Okay. You will see in many different languages that you have to, each time you finish a line, put a semicolon. But in Kotlin, being it a new kind of language, we don't need to use that anymore. We just program and put an enter and finish the line there. If we execute it, just like he offers me with display, or I go here and execute it from here, well, sorry. If I press here and run main kit, it will automatically put it here. The main, doing this, you call it main qt, okay, because it's the main.qt. As you can see, run main qt, main kt, sorry. So main kt is main kt. If I execute it from now on, it will appear here as an option of execution, this here, and I will be able to execute it how many times I want. Okay, I'm executing many times here. Okay, as you can see, the result is here, down here in a console, because we are now only programming and interacting with a console. Okay, so it will show us here the resulting text, which in this case is hello world. Perfect. The following thing that I will do is and we will add another function that in this case asks for information. Okay, to do that, in the following part, we will start making this program much more complex, and one step after the other we'll make it more and more complex so you can learn how to use the Kotlin language.